All right, guys. Yesterday we talked all about the ways to collect data, population and sample, and bias. So we're going to continue that conversation by starting to talk about the types of random samples. So if you remember from yesterday, I said that random samples, or having a sample that is random, is very important because otherwise the sample that you've chosen is biased and it will not represent the population as a whole. So we have 3 vocabulary words that we're going to go over today. The first of which is a simple random sample. It's probably the most common type. It is a sample that is equally likely to be chosen as any other sample from the population. So that is all of the surveys that we talked about yesterday, and the example over the right here says the 26 students in a class are each assigned a different number from 1 to 26, then 3 of the 26 numbers are picked at random. So it's very simple, which is why it's called a simple random sample. The second type that we're going to talk about today is called stratified. That is where the population is first divided into separate groups. And once they've been divided into separate groups, a random sample is selected from each group. So for example, over at the right, it says the students in a school are divided into freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and then 2 students are randomly selected from each group of students. So the key here is they're divided into groups. So anytime you're looking at an example and it says that something is being split up into several different groups, whether that be at school or by type of something, it means that it is being stratified. It's a stratified random sample. And the last one is systematic. It's a sample in which the items in the sample are selected according to a specified time or item interval. So yesterday when we talked about deciding whether or not a sample was random, I told you that doing every 5th person or every 1,000th bolt was a really good way to do something because it's completely random. However, you just have to be super careful about where you take your random sample just to make sure that it does in fact stay unbiased. So in the example, it says every 2 minutes an item is pulled off the assembly line for inspection, or every 20th item is pulled off the assembly line. The word every is very common when you're talking about something that is systematic. So just look for those kinds of words. Now, when you are trying to remember all of these different types, I understand that stratified and systematic can get confusing. The way that I always remember the difference between the two is systematic is kind of like they have a system, a way of doing things. So when you are trying to think about whether something is stratified or systematic, ask yourself, well, is there a system? Are they doing something in a specific way on purpose in order to choose their sample? So every 2 minutes or every 20th item, that would make it a system, and therefore it's systematic. So by process of elimination, stratified would be divided into groups. All right, guys, that's it for today. Really, really short video. So just make sure that you filled out the notes and then go to page 56 and try the practice. The key for that is on the module underneath page 55 and 56. So you can check your answers after that. As always, if you have questions, make sure that you either reach out to myself or Mrs. Ripley, and we'll be super happy to help you out. All right, have a good day, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.